England are in action tomorrow. Our cricket correspondent Jon Norman has popped in to preview that. Hello, John.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
We've got a clean bill of health, haven't we, really, in terms of players being available. Unlike the Aussies, we've got a few notable players out.
They have.
I know, after a lot of doom and gloom surrounding England's white ball side, and much of it was on talkSPORT too, as they...
the Jonas, as you're now called.
Yeah, the Jonas Norman.
Yeah.
They played pretty well in patches in the T20s against India. They actually should have won 2 of those games. They lost it 4-1. There was a huge gulf between the two sides in the ODIs. I mean, they didn't come close. And, of course, 50-over cricket is what the Champions Trophy is all about for now. But Australia are missing, several key players, including, Patrick Cummins. There's no Mitchell Starc, no Josh Hazlewood. So when you put the teams up against each other, and England have gone in a bowler light, so they've strengthened the batting, and you think, OK, well, as a matchup, considering they have just played 8 white ball games against India, they're going into this, having, a lot of muscle memory, a lot of games in the bank. Australia may be going in a little undercooked. They've played a couple of white ball games in Sri Lanka. So, yeah, I mean, you'd have to say England are in a pretty decent position, but, of course, they're going in with that much confidence.
No, the attack isn't balanced, though. They haven't got a left arm quick. They haven't got, apart from Adil Rashid, they haven't got another spinner that's, dangerous and can do something, So, I don't know. It's difficult. And also the fact that we don't play 50-over cricket now. The 50-over tournament has been relegated to the Royal Something Cup that the B teams play. It's not, it's not something that we do. And I think it's a bit dated, 50-over cricket.
And it certainly feels like that sometimes during the game. But there's many benefits to 50-over cricket as opposed to 20-over cricket if you're a spectator, and you want a day out at the cricket.
But you can build in innings, there are advantages, but not many, I don't think.
No, it does seem like it's on its last legs a little bit.
Is that? I mean, it's a fairly unloved tournament. I didn't realise because we went along to Cardiff, didn't we, for England's semi-final against Pakistan. I didn't realise that was the last time they'd played this, 2017.
Pakistan are defending champions.
Yeah.
I think Tim Wigmore in the Daily Telegraph called the Champions Trophy the zombie tournament. They've tried to kill it off 2 or 3 times, and they just haven't managed.
TV money and the fact that India or Pakistan win it, is that the thing that keeps it going? Or?
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah. Look, the ICC, in terms of broadcast, they need a tournament every year. That's the model now. So the Champions Trophy's back after an 8-year hiatus. And then the T20 World Cup is every 2 years. The 50-over World Cup is in 2027. That's every 4 years. Then you have the World Test Championship final, of course. It's all about events, and it's all about India versus Pakistan, and it's all about justifying the mega deal that was done in India for these TV rights. But
India won't play in Pakistan, will they? They're playing in Dubai or something like that.
No, this is the crazy thing. They awarded Pakistan the tournament knowing full well that India wouldn't go there. And, of course, instead of dealing with it 3 years ago, it was dealt with about 2 months ago. You've got this absolutely farcical situation where essentially, and Pakistan lost their first game, of course they did. They might be knocked out by India on Sunday. But essentially, you've got India playing in Dubai. They know exactly where they're going to be playing all the way up to the final if they get there. All the other countries are darting around everywhere. But essentially, 4 days out from the final itself, you won't know whether the final's being played in Karachi or Dubai, because you're essentially waiting to find out if Pakistan are there.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Well, it's just cricket, really, isn't it?
But from an Ashes point of view, Australia are a great side, but they are ageing, aren't they? There's no question that by next winter, all of their bowlers are going to be 35 plus.
All of them. Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood has missed so much cricket. Even Scott Boland, who's the next cab off the rank. Michael Neser, who missed the Border Gavaskar, he's mid-30s as well. Nathan Lyon, the spinner, doesn't matter quite as much. But
he's still a very good bowler, obviously.
And they're all very good bowlers, but they're all mid-30s. And actually, if you look at their batting, Usman Khawaja, Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne, they're all well into their 30s as well. So
this could be their last stand, though. You'd imagine that's how they'll frame it and how they'll see it.
It's going to be a hugely exciting Ashes come the end of the year, for sure. But you almost have the feeling that England will have a better chance in 4 years' time when all of these great bowlers will definitely have gone.
I thought it was interesting, Joe Root talking ahead of this game against Australia tomorrow. He said, I think the art of batting is assessing the conditions in front of you, managing the situation that you're presented with, consistently making good decisions under pressure. Well, why aren't we doing it then? I mean, there's quite a few things that England generally don't tend to do.
Well, but it is quite refreshing to hear him saying that, isn't it? Because it's absolutely true. There's a lot of reinventing the wheel that goes on with all sport, actually, but certainly with cricket and England over the last 3 or 4 years. But if you just follow that mantra, you're surely going to put yourself in a position, whatever format you're playing, to succeed more times than you're going to fail.
Yeah.
But
how many times do England not assess the conditions, go out and play baseball when they have not even, sussed out a bowler yet? We've seen it so often. We saw it in India. You saw it enough times, didn't you?
One of the things that had us tearing our hair out at times was that you'd have a batter like Joss Buttler playing beautifully at one end, and instead of supporting him and playing sensible cricket, essentially, one by one a batter will come in and just go for a big shot within the first 2 or 3 balls, get out, and essentially leave the guy at the other end, Butler in or whoever, Joe Root maybe, just stranded, or leaving them way too much to do. I mean, there was 8 games, and I imagine, I'd have to go back and look, and 6 of them, maybe 7, you're watching Jamie Overton or Bryden Cass or Adil Rashid walk to the crease way too early.
Sure,
so
Jamie Smith playing tomorrow. I like him. He's
at 3. You've put him in at 3, haven't they?
He's a good
I
cricketer.
think Jamie Smith could bat at 3 in the Test side. I think he has got something about him.
I agree.
He plays. He's so strong in the V. Doesn't overhit. Times the ball beautifully. Very strong. He's put a lot of work in. Great eye. I think he's got a touch of quality about him. So I'm really excited to see how he goes. And I think England looks stronger with him in the side.
Brooks got a great record in Pakistan. I know he's really struggled in India. He's right out of form, but he's class. And he has got a good record in Pakistan.
So Brook is really interesting because, talkSPORT were in New Zealand over the winter. He played one of the best innings I've ever seen at Wellington when everybody else was losing their wicket and didn't know which end of the bat to hold. And he was playing some extraordinary shots. I think Harry Brook's problem is that he doesn't rotate the strike well enough. If you look at his breakdown in run scoring, he doesn't score. He scores too much of his run scoring comes through boundary shots, and below average number of his runs comes from singles and twos. So essentially he's not getting it off strike. He gets bogged down, and when he hits the big shot you think, there's a player there. And on flat tracks he can do that, but on tracks that aren't so flat, especially in India against quality bowling, by the way, he struggles just to. And it's that aspect of his game that I think he needs to work on. He's got a touch of genius about him. He's an absolutely wonderful batter, but I am a little bit concerned by a player that can't get off strike, by a player that can't manoeuvre the ball around the field. That would be my worry with Harry Brook.
Good stuff, John. I'm sure we'll keep you in touch with that when it gets underway 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so I'm at your place tomorrow, John. Fulham. I'm going to see Fulham play Palace.
I'm dreaming of Europe.
I know you should be.
15 years since Hamburg.
Very well. Yeah.
And we
I would say Traore's been the really interesting one. A guy who's been so flaky over the years, and it looked like Marco Silva's really got him switched on.
But I think, and I'm worried about Marco Silva.
What, he's going to go somewhere else?
And I think I would be. It's your club.
Oh, really?
Of the clubs
have you heard a whisper?
No, I haven't. But if you think about logically, for him to leave Fulham if he's to stay in England, remember he turned down a massive deal to Saudi Arabia. He wants to prove himself, whether in the Premier League or in Europe at a top club. He's certainly proved himself at Fulham. And one of the things that Marco Silva has proven himself to be brilliant at is getting the best out of players, whether it was Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, Harry Wilson, Tom Cairney, Ryan Sessegnon. There's a lot of players, Mitrovic when he was there, there's a lot of players that hadn't necessarily succeeded at other clubs, Pereira, that have absolutely Iwobi. So many players come to Fulham, they become better players. He's very hands-on. They know exactly what is expected of him. Traore's the same. He will leave us at some point, hopefully after a year in Europe. If you look at the clubs, he's not going to Liverpool. He's not going to Manchester City. He's not going to Arsenal. He's not going to Chelsea.
I don't know about that.
Right.
Maybe.
Might be a vacancy.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
could be.
But of the big uns,
Wow.
It's Tottenham. They're the ones I'm worried
Okay,
about.
well, if Ange wins the Europa League, gets us in the Champions League...
I hope it doesn't happen.
Good to see you, John. Thanks
Yeah,
ever so
cheers,
much.
guys.
Our cricket correspondent there, Jon Norman. So we'll keep you in touch with that one when it gets underway tomorrow morning.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.